Hello to everybody who went to school for one thing, and then that bubble burst. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. If you're somebody who likes to skip the intros, I'm not offended by that. You're going to want to skip like 2.5 minutes this time. That'll put you right towards the beginning of the call. Pretty quick intro today. Enjoy the call. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beautiful Anonymous. I hope you're doing well. I hope your head is on straight. I hope that the stresses of life are not pushing you to the brink. I think we all are having moments of that occasionally lately. I think today's episode will help. If you need escapism, distraction, whimsy, and joy, this is going to be a good one for you. It is. I'll tell you about it in a moment. But first, I want to say thanks to everybody who's been buying tickets for our upcoming live tapings. We will be in Chicago on January 30th, Detroit on the 31st, and Pittsburgh on Sunday, February 1st. Now, here's the thing. I got really good news. As of this taping, we're over 2 weeks out. Chicago, there's only 14 tickets left. Pittsburgh, there's only 15 tickets left. And then Detroit, there's 123 tickets left. So we can pick up the pace there a little bit. So if you're in the Detroit area in particular, buy that ticket, come on out, chrisgeth.com. That will redirect you to punchup.live/Chris Gethard. Grab those tickets. Why not? Come, celebrate, have a good time, be in the room for a live taping. We've been doing the show for 10 years, and it's nice to hit the road and go out and do some live shows and meet the people who have been supporting us this whole time. And I would love for you to be a part of it. Thank you so much. I have no idea why Detroit is lagging behind so severely compared to the other two cities, but I'm actually really psyched that the other two cities are doing so well. So I'll take it. And I have a feeling by the time we get to Detroit that the numbers will feel nice and healthy. So let's go ahead and get them there, Detroit. And as I said, the morning after that show, you better believe, before we drive down to Pittsburgh, I'm going to one of my favorite spots in the country, the Yemen Cafe, for breakfast. Truly one of the best breakfasts I've ever had, and I will be getting the honey bread. Maybe I'll see you all there, but not if you don't. If no one comes, no one cares. No one comes to the show. Maybe I won't see anybody there. Who knows? Anyway, I'll stop being nervous about ticket sales. The call you're about to hear is one that I am quite fond of. Quite fond of. This caller, we talk about it. A little bit of an outsider, a little bit on the fringe, and specifically that shows up via the art that this caller chooses to make. I love that the caller went to school and got so into one specific thing that it took over the schooling process. And I don't even want to say in the intro exactly what it is, because I want you to have the same experience I did, which is that feeling of like, oh, okay, so you really care about this one thing? Wow, we're still talking about it? We still have this much to say about, okay. And now actually I'm starting to reconsider the thing and offer up some thoughts I never saw coming about the thing. I love it. I love when people love a thing to this degree. And I really love this call. I hope you do too. Enjoy it. Sign up for the extra stuff at beautifulanonymous.com. Buy a ticket to come see us on the road. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Chris Gethard?
That's me. That's nice to hear someone excited.
Wow.
It's nice to hear someone excited.
I am freaking out a little bit.
Oh, no need to freak out.
I just never thought this would happen. This is like the first time I tried to call in this year, and I was like wrestling with my own, just like, oh, maybe they'll reject me. Maybe I won't be fun enough. And she picked me. Wow.
No, and let me be clear. we're not in the game of rejecting people. I've noticed that there's some people online who, maybe now that we're on Blue Sky instead of Twitter, so it's less people and I see more of the reactions. Some people feeling like, what do I have to do? And it's like, just keep calling. It's not judgment. Like we want to get to everybody. I promise. It's just any number of factors to pull back the curtain. Andrea might know, like if I'm in a bad mood or a sad mood, I'll tell Andrea beforehand, and it's like, well, she's going to get me one that's a little more light that day. Or if we've had a bunch of light ones, we aim for something more serious. Or if somebody's audio quality is really good, they get bumped up to the front of the line. Everyone chill. You're good. We're going to get you on here.
Amazing. And I can be that whole spectrum of light to dark.
Light and dark.
To
Okay.
say to you, and I wondered if you ever thought about. Okay, so you did an American Studies degree, and you've talked about your schooling and all of that. Have you ever thought about how Beautiful Anonymous feels like what an artist would do with an American Studies degree?
Yeah, I'm the first to admit I've made fun of the fact that I got an American Studies degree. I'm the first to say most of why I got it is because I had already taken a bunch of history and English classes. The American Studies classes were interesting, but I was going to drop out and then realized this was kind of an easy way to apply all these American history and literature classes I had already taken. I found a trick where I majored in American Studies and minored in American history, and all the courses from my minor also counted towards my major. That being said, Beautiful Anonymous clearly falls into an American Studies realm, and like my work at Weird New Jersey Magazine that's basically just folklore. That's basically just tracking local legends. Very, very much American Studies. I think even the nonprofit Laughing Together is like an application of an American developed art form in the American education system. There's some American studies in there. So yeah, it's strange for a guy who's talked as much smack I have about the degree I got. I have used it arguably as much as anyone could have. Why'd you bring up American Studies so quick? Are you an American Studies person?
No, I'm not actually even an American.
Canadian.
I guess I just really like culture. Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Andrea clocked it right away.
I guess I just really like culture. Oh, yeah, she did. She's a good one. A couple of years ago, I did a Bachelor's of Arts degree, and like there's lots of elements of that kind of degree that is about culture studies, and I just really loved it. So I think it always stuck in my head that you had done an American Studies, and how I felt like this is actually how an artist would use that degree. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for noticing. It's a very thoughtful observation. Sure. I have chuckled at times that for as much as I've kind of rolled my eyes at the degree I got, I'm also sort of a poster child for using an American Studies degree. So,
I mean, the institution that you went to should probably have a course on this podcast.
It's strange. Not that they have to, but I remember when things got weird was I started working at Weird New Jersey Magazine when I was still in college. It was after my sophomore year. Mm-hmm. And they taught a class called Jerseyana, New Jersey as a Culture, which I took and I loved.
Yeah.
And they talked about Weird New Jersey Magazine in it. And it was these two professors I knew pretty well. And I said, I work there. Like it's the two owners and me. I'm the employee. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that. And I could feel it. Yeah, I could feel it felt some sort of, it created some kind of barrier. And from there, I was also, depressed and looking for a way out of college at that point. But I remember realizing then, they're not embracing, like the fact that I'm using this, they're not embracing me as I remember even going to them and saying like, I'm working at Weird New Jersey Magazine. Can I get like independent study credits? And they were like, oh, well, you're getting paid, so no. Mm. But no follow-up questions and no like, hey, you understand that you're like becoming a folklorist and we are an American Studies department. That's rad. None of that. Just like you're getting paid, no credits for it. And no follow-up. Not that I'm trying to hold grudges against professors from the Rutgers University American Studies Department circa 2000 and 2001. It was 26 years ago. But yeah, it was weird. Anyway, what's your deal? What's your deal?
It sits with you. What's my deal? Well, what I had told Andrea was that, so I'm an artist. As I mentioned, I did a BFA, but a weird part of my practice that just has solidified over time is bubbles.
Bubbles.
So soap bubbles. So like when you go to art school or university for art, or at least at mine, they have this thing called a panel crit where they like bring in all the scariest people, and then you have to explain all of your art to them, and they can like say things to you, and it's a lot. And one of my panel crits was I called it a bubble party, and the whole thing was about like kind of disrupting power, and it was really fun because like there was all the people from the panel, and then there was also students, and like one of my fellow students had to like teach the professor how to blow a bubble, and then we all cheered, and that was like the moment of the art, was the moment when we cheered and the power was shifted. But then bubbles have just stayed with me. And I live in a super stigmatized neighborhood in my city. It's low income, there's social issues. But I like threw a bubble party in the park. I got a grant, and I like invited all the children from around, and we just blew bubbles. And like, it sounds cheesy and corny,
Sounds
but like
great.
it actually, oh, thank you. Like we made friends with our neighbors, and like we weren't friends before. And just like everybody loves bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I haven't met anybody who doesn't love bubbles. So
how many years were you in school to get that MFA?
Yeah, or BFA, but I
BFA.
had to work at the same time, so it took me about 6 years.
6 years in school. What was your intended focus? Because it sounds like you weren't going in saying, I want to be a bubble artist. Did you have an intended medium you wanted to work in?
Well, I thought I was going to be a painting major, and my whole idea was to kind of move towards being an art therapist. And the painting department just wasn't my thing, and I ended up in drawing, which, like, as much as there's not a ton of difference between that, something about the drawing department is where the weirdos of the weirdos end up. So even though I was in the drawing department, I was like focused on making puppets and bubbles. Yeah.
And as far as there's kind of two ways this can go, I think, with this next question, which is either there's a few ways. A, maybe you just put yourself through school and that was it, and nobody got to have an opinion. But if your family was involved in your life at the time, either they're also arts supportive people that are going, yeah, go down these rabbit holes, this is cool, go for it. Or they're going, why are you spending all this time and effort and money in school to do bubble art? Have you felt support, or have you felt judgment from the fam, especially back in the schooling days?
Yeah, I super supported. I think because I went back to school as like a mature student, and I was taking care of all of the responsibilities of paying for it and whatnot on myself. Like, yeah, no one could really say anything. And prior to that, like for about 10 years, I worked in like nonprofit settings, working on like front lines, primarily with the homeless population, and just the level of vicarious trauma that I had accumulated. I think everybody wanted me to go and blow bubbles. Yeah, so I got a lot of support for it. I mean, when it comes to like my extended family, maybe my grandma, I don't know if they get it, but no one has criticized me.
But it sounds like they're just happy to see you paying the bills, alive, happy, thriving. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And I got married this summer, and it was a bubble party. So thank you. Actually, I think if I remember correctly, you got married at a summer camp.
I did.
And I did too. So matching.
Nice.
Yeah. So we had a big bubble party, and it was a lot of fun. My husband has really long hair and a beard. And when the photographer came to get me, they were like, I don't want to spoil anything, but your husband looks like Jesus right now. And I was like, I'm really into that. So that works for me.
First of all, that's amazing to have a bubble party with your husband who looks like Jesus. Incredible. Here's one thing I know about bubbles is there are bubble buskers. In the busking world, there's bubble people.
Yes.
And
I am one of those.
You're one of those. Okay, we got to talk about this because these bubble buskers are quietly the scene stealers of any busking environment. I know because when I've been at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, you're out there on the streets, you're trying to hand out postcards, get people to come to your shows, and there's also people busking. There's magicians, there's puppeteers. When the bubble guy shows up, pack it up and find another block, man. Nobody's paying attention to you and your flyers. The bubbles are here. Kids flip out. Like for kids, game over. They're not paying attention to anything else. But adults too, very quickly. There is when you're out there on the streets busking, people only got so much money to spend. And I think artists are generally supportive of each other, but it's also, man, all right, the human statue might need to just pack it on up and head down to a different block. Do you ever feel bitterness from other buskers as a bubble person?
So the bubble busking just started like at the end of last summer. I realized I could do this. So I haven't actually encountered many other buskers. But a bubble busker in Paris was the first time I'd ever seen someone make like gigantic bubbles with these, like you have these like two rods and a string in between them and you can make like giant bubbles. And that's where it all came from for me, at least the first time I ever saw that. So bubble buskers are very inspirational and important people in our lives.
How do you take an art form?
My uncle is also a status.
Your uncle's a what?
Go ahead. No,
please.
He's a statue, one of those statue guys.
You have an uncle that makes it easier for your family to accept you as a bubble person if you have an uncle who's a human statue.
I think so.
Thank you for allowing me to say that sentence. That's one of the best sentences I've ever said. You just allowed me to say the sentence. It makes it easier for your family to accept you as a bubble person when your uncle is a human statue. That's one of the peak moments, I would say, of the 10 years of doing this show is that sentence that just came out of my mouth. Thank you for that.
What a moment for us both. Thank you.
Here's something you're doing that I think is different than a lot of people. There's art forms like that are known for maybe kids entertainment or maybe street entertainment, but you're out here getting grants. How do you make that leap? And how do you convince the people who write the grants and grant the grants that bubbles are a valid art form deserving of grant money?
Good question. Because something about like I make bubbles and I make puppets and I paint and I do a lot of things and people always called my work childlike. And like by the end of my degree, I was just getting really frustrated because it felt like that was as far as people were willing to go. Like, oh, it's childlike, it's done. When I'm like, why do we dismiss that so fast? Because we need as humans, we need the things that children need, joy, play, all of that. And so I think because I really framed it as like, it's a community building thing, people jump on board. One of the best parts of my summer, like I had a bubble party at my wedding. And then the next month I got invited to come and be an artist at a queer kid camp. And why they chose me, I guess, or they really liked when I talked about like bubbles are this opportunity to curate a micro moment of joy. And then when you do that with other people, it's like a moment that sticks in your mind and then you can kind of go back to. So I got to go to this camp with 80 kids who are all different and interesting and cool and kind and a little bit weird. And we had a bubble party together and it was, that was also amazing.
I love this. Now I want to because I can tell, I'm not the most artsy artist in the world, but I am an artist and I care deeply about the arts. And I also, I mean, 100%. No offense by this, love weirdos, love fringe art, love folk art. And I think you're existing in a realm that, yes, you're not quite an outsider, but on that realm, right? This is very unique.
Yeah.
I want to hear
Yes,
from you.
thank you. And thank you for catching that.
Yeah, no, for sure. But the bubble artists out there are doing their own thing. I mean, I'm in comedy, which has established pathways towards making a living. Now, are they under threat? Are they getting squeezed? Are the algorithms making them scarier? Are there all sorts of issues for artists in my field? Yeah. But do any of us on our worst day have a less likely pathway to success than any given bubble artist? No. Every bubble artist has a harder time making a living than any comedian who wants to make a living. So I get it, and I applaud you for doing it. I want to understand your visceral feelings, your verbalizations of what this art brings to you, of what it is about bubbles that both as a medium and as a connector of people get you going.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough question, but it's...
Okay, so some of the things that, I'm going to do my best. There's something that I find really intriguing about the idea that it is impermanent, like that these bubbles are impermanent. You just get to see them for a moment, and that you kind of have to put effort into, like, especially when I think about setting up a bubble party, I have to put effort into making that happen. And there's something that just really sits nicely in my heart when I think about, like, it's still worth doing, even though it's only a moment. I think within my art practice, there's a lot of metaphors about being a human. And I do tell people that I think I'm, like, figuring out how to be a human through my art. The even though it's an impermanent, it's still important, because I think, especially artists, like, there's this whole thread about wanting to make, like, an impact into history. And that's not always going to happen for all of us. And I like to kind of refocus into who's in front of me. Also, like, the colors that bubbles make and the shadows that bubbles make, they are like portals. It's just, like, really amazing thing to just, like, stand there with other people, see their joy, see what they're observing about the bubbles, and and just taking it all in and realizing that, like, you've created a moment. I also, like, it's okay to be uncomfortable. I think we all need to get, like, used to being a little bit uncomfortable more. And I love when I can invite, like, grown-ups who are like, I'm serious, and I can be like, come and blow a bubble, and they're into it. And did that answer the question?
Beautifully, and at a level I never anticipated. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
Can I tell you two things that I think about, as you've now made me think about bubbles probably harder than I've ever had to, but two things that are coming to mind for me that might sound pretentious, but I mean them.
Okay.
We're going to pause right there, because we need to think about ads. Ads are important. They allow the show to continue and thrive. So we're going to do them. We'll be right back. Financial resolutions are great, but let's be real. Budgets don't reset on January 1st. Between post-holiday credit card bills and getting back to your regular routine, cash is tight. That's why there's Upside. The free Upside app gets you cash back on gas, groceries, and dining. The three things draining your wallet right now. Over 100,000 participating locations means cash back opportunities are everywhere you already go. And yes, it's cash back, not points you'll never use, not credits that expire, money you transfer straight to your bank account. Here's how it works. Open the app, claim an offer, pay with your card like normal, and get paid. That's it. You'll earn 3 times more cash back with Upside than with loyalty programs or credit card rewards alone. Users earn $1 million in cash back every single week, and unlike other programs, you can stack Upside with your existing credit card and loyalty rewards. Upside is incredible. It fits right into your daily life, fits right into your routine. I've been blown away at how easy it is. You go ahead, you check that Upside app. You're going to find opportunities before you fill up the tank down at the gas station, before you go grocery shopping. And this stuff adds up. And if you're like me, you know, costs can pile up quick and get out of control. And the fact that there's somebody out here getting our backs, helping us claw back some of that money into our own pockets, it's a beautiful thing. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code BEAUTIFUL to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code BEAUTIFUL. This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel you need to win your day. Look, it's the new year, right? That means it's a clean slate. Everybody's thinking about how to make some changes, and maybe it's time to transform frustration into fuel. Power your day up with IQ Bar. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great place to start. You can try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ Bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. And I want to recommend, I always have an IQ Bar in my bag. It's a great, smart snack choice. Gives you a lot of healthy stuff. So much better than grabbing junk food while you're on the go. Tons of fiber, no added sugar. One of the great uses of the front pocket of a backpack, have a couple IQ Bars in there. The new year gives us all a chance to reset. Maximize your brain and body's potential with IQ Bar's protein bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. I can tell you, so hardcore. First of all, one of my wife's Christmas presents, IQ Joe. I got her a big bag of IQ Joe. It was in the stocking. She flipped out. She loves it. I know that for me, when winter is here in particular, I'm always using IQ Mix. When it's cold season, flu season, I want to make sure I'm staying hydrated. I want to make sure I'm staying alert. IQ Mix is really incredible. I'm weirdly sort of obsessed with the IQ Mix hydration product. If you are as well, reach out to me. We can be nerds about it. And as I said before, the IQ Bar, great grab and go breakfast and fantastic. Have a couple in the bag. Always have a healthy snack on you. Really great stuff. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. That's BEAUTIFUL to 64000. Text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. It's easier than ever to find personal info about people online. Your address is out there, phone number, family members' names. That is all out on the internet. It's wild, and it can have real consequences in the real world. The New York Times Wirecutter has pointed out that Delete Me is their top pick for data removal services, and I can vouch for that. I wound up in a pretty wild situation a few years ago. I don't speak too specifically about it, but I was like, whoa, I need to get that info private, man, because I'm not sure if everything is cool right now. I'm not sure if everything is safe. It was tough, scary stuff. And I'll tell you, I looked into a few different services and actually used one, and then later used Delete Me, and Delete Me found dozens of places where my info had not been scrubbed by the competitors. So I can speak personally for the fact that Delete Me sets the bar, and Delete Me is doing a better job than a lot of the other services that claim they can do this type of stuff. Delete Me is the brass ring. They're all chasing, and I've seen that personally, and it has kept me and my family safer. So thank you for that, Delete Me. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful and use promo code beautiful at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful and enter code beautiful at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/beautiful, code beautiful.
Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call. Two things that are coming to mind for me that might sound pretentious, but I mean them.
Okay.
I love what you're saying about the impermanence of bubbles. I think a lot of my favorite art is impermanent. I come from a background of doing improvised comedy, and improv can be very cheesy and it's often made fun of now, but when it's at its best, part of what's great about it when it's good is that if you go home and try to describe it to others, it's very, very hard to explain to them why it was good, because in the moment you were part of a communal experience. So the impermanence of it, I share. I have a sort of, I would say almost a addiction to impermanent art, and I like that. I'll also put this out here. I like that bubbles are clear, but they make you reconsider things you take for granted. It's very, very easy to forget that you're breathing air, but when you see a bubble floating in front of you, you're reminded, oh, right, this is a miracle that we get to breathe and that we're alive. They make you reconsider light. You don't always think about light, but then when you see a bubble have that prismatic effect and remind you that light is beaming down from fucking space, are you kidding me? And I don't ever stop to think about the fact that we have warmth and growth and plant life and a planet because I just take it for granted that the sun comes up every day. No, bubbles make me reconsider air and light, some of the very basic things.
Yes. Also, it was really interesting because there's somebody else at the university when I did my bubble party. She was a jewelry maker and she had just made a ring with like a bubble wand on the end. Like she casted it out of metal. So I actually commissioned her to do 2 of those for our wedding because even just the idea of having the bubble on the ring and like if you think about the bubble as a replacement for the jewel, it's like you have to work at this relationship and like it's not that I'm not saying that my marriage is like so hard or anything, but it's like it's something that takes an effort. And I don't know. I just really liked also the metaphor of the bubble ring instead of a wedding ring.
I love that. Wait, are you saying your only wedding ring was a bubble ring?
I have an engagement ring that has like a stone in it, but I can't wear the bubble ring, wedding ring all the time. But the plan is that every year on our anniversary, we'll blow bubbles together with the ring.
So tell me about your partner. Tell me about Bubble Jesus.
Okay, this is a good story. Okay, so actually, in the year that I saw the Bubble Buskers in Paris, so my mom moved to France. My mom lives in France with her husband, and I was in France visiting. And at one point, I had gone on my own to Wales. And I don't know if you remember, there used to be this thing called couch surfers where you could you had a profile on a website and people would be like, hey, I have a couch you can sleep on if you're traveling. Mm-hmm. And as the traveler, you could be like, hey, could I sleep on your couch? So mm-hmm. I did that in Wales and I met this absolutely incredible woman who she was like an Australian punk and she had a daughter and she told me about how this one time she had like a psychotic break in a squat somewhere in Australia. And after that, she was able to read palms. So of course I asked her to read my palms. Great. And at that time I was especially like, where is my person? I had never really had like a serious relationship. I was a loner for a long time. And she read my palms and she said, he's near, like he's not too far away. And I thought that meant like, oh, when I go back from France, back to Canada, I'll probably meet this guy. 3 weeks later, I'm on Tinder. Okay. And this is I don't usually tell everybody this story. I changed my Tinder profile to say, only match with me if you can get me some weed. Because no one was being very nice and I just wanted some weed. So my partner matched with me and he messaged me and he's like, it's actually like really hard to get and da-da-da-da-da, but I can bring you some if you want. So he came, he drove an hour to where I was and he brought me a little bit of weed and he met my mom and then we just kept seeing each other. And then I had to go back to Canada and we didn't really establish like what we were but we were still talking. And he was talking to me one day and he's like, yeah, I was really sad. And I was talking to my mom today and she asked me why I was sad. And I told her that you had gone home and she asked me if if you were my girlfriend. And I just said yes. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm glad you and your mom decided that I'm your girlfriend now, because I like that idea. And then he visited as often as he could, but we were long distance for about 3 years. There's a visa in Canada that you can get that's based on the lottery system. So we were waiting for that lottery, and it came through November 2019. So just a couple months before COVID hit. So like, yeah, that was a really intense experience to go from long distance to go to like being with each other for 24 hours on top of him adjusting to immigrating to a new place and all of that. And what else can I tell you about him? He's someone who I think when you look at him, you would think, oh, he's like very serious guy, but he rolls with my bubble antics, and he's incredibly supportive. I mean, that's kind of like you were talking about bubble artists trying to make a living. Like I couldn't do it without his support. I couldn't try to make this happen because I'd have to be trying to survive a lot more. Yeah.
At what point in the courtship did he realize that if he wanted to be with you, bubbles were going to have to be a major factor in his life?
I feel like probably right away. Because culturally, like in my experience, like the French are a little bit more pulled back maybe than I am. And I'm just kind of like, here I am, here's what I'm doing. And yeah, so I think he probably realized pretty quick that it was going to be different.
I love this. And now he's in a marriage where you intend on having a bubble blowing ceremony every year on your anniversary.
Exactly. Whoever would have thought that that's what's going to happen? And this is what I was telling Andrea. We're hoping. So he's French, but his dad is Moroccan, and he has family still in Morocco, like his grandmother. And we're intending to go there in a couple months. And I just can't wait to blow bubbles off of his grandmother's roof in Morocco.
Are there? Oh, I never even thought of this. First, I was going to ask you if there are brands of bubbles that the professionals like better, but then I realized you might blend your own bubbles. I don't even know how you come to acquire your bubbles and what the really serious people are out there doing.
Yeah. I use a mix of like dish soap, something called gargum powder, and vegetable glycerin.
Are you going to have to bring all those things with you to Morocco? Like, do you have to check a bag and get gargum over the border? Do you have to declare your gargum at customs?
That is a very good question. There are also these like packs that I've used in the past that are like super concentrated soap solution, and then you just mix it with water. And I might end up just doing that. Yeah,
but that's not ideal
because the ideal ones are the formula, because you could just get like kind of the strongest bubbles out of that. But I think it will still be good.
Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting too, because like environmental factors and humidity and all of that definitely impacts bubbles. And I'm just not really sciencey enough to know all of it.
When you travel to different climates, do you notice a difference in the behavior of your bubbles? Even if you're not up on the exact science, can you say like, oh, there must be some sort of weather pressure system in here, I'm not getting the float I'm used to?
Yeah, I think definitely. And there's, just even longevity. And it definitely is. It's a strange thing, but it's true.
When you're performing for kids, what blows their minds the most?
I think when because I have the setup where I have like the two rods that you spread apart and you can make really big ones. I think those ones tend to be people's favorites. And I really I'm an auntie, so I have that auntie energy, and I just always like to have them try it themselves. So I think giving littles that opportunity tends to blow their minds.
So you're empowering the next generation of bubble makers.
Yeah. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I could not be more supportive of everything you've laid out today.
Thank you.
I think we need
really
this.
appreciate that.
We need bubble.
Thank you.
Bubble obsessed artists whose uncles are human statues, who date where the main factor in dating is weed availability. We need more people like you out there.
Yeah.
More people like you, yeah.
Yes, believer in palm readings. Thank you. I do. That is a very nice thing for you to say, because I do often feel like a weirdo, or like people don't always know how to take me. So, yeah.
Are you in a part of Canada? Canada is generally very cold for large portions of the year.
Yeah.
Making bubbles is much easier outdoors than indoors. It's a much easier sell.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely is a seasonal thing, but I have this friend who actually teaches at a university locally, and she had come and had me talk about puppets, but she asked if I would do a bubble party, but it was also December. And I was like, how are we going to do this? So do you remember Shrinky Dinks?
Of course I remember Shrinky Dinks. For any listeners younger than me, these were weird toys from the 80s where, if I remember right, they would come in like these sheets almost of plastic, and you'd cut out shapes, if I remember right, and then you would bake them and they would harden into little toys.
Yeah. So that was also something that I got into this year with Shrinky Dinks, because I like teach a craft group, so I'm always trying out these different things. So what I did for my friend who asked me to come to a bubble party at the university is I had her students all make Shrinky Dink bubble wands, and I processed them with a heat gun, and then we had a mini bubble party in her classroom, and it was all worked despite the -30 outside.
-30.
Yeah, I can get that bad here.
When you're dealing with -30, though, this is when you need some whimsy. This is when you need some joy. Dare I say, this is when you need some bubbles.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. But I also live in an area of the country that experiences Chinooks. I don't know if are you familiar with this weather pattern?
No, tell me about this.
So it's I actually think we might be one of two places in the world that this happens. So it's a phenomenon, something to do with the Rocky Mountains and the air. And like right now, today, it's +13. So it gets like warm and nice for like a week, and then it goes back to winter. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll have another Chinook and it will get warm again. Yeah, it's very bizarre, but sometimes I feel like I could never leave this part of the country, because like the mental health needs it. Like when you experience -30, you need that +13 in a couple of weeks to like get you through.
So when you +13 right now, you're all like, cool, let me put on some shorts. Let me throw on some shorts and a tank top.
Definitely.
We're at +13.
Yes. And everything is melted. Yeah, it's truly bizarre.
I love that you're out there and that you exist in this environment and that you're bringing happiness to people. And there must be people that...
Thank you.
There must be people who are living very traditional lives who must look at you and almost view you as like an ethereal being who's not totally from planet Earth. And that can make you feel crazy when you're an artist. And I hope that it doesn't make you feel crazy.
Yeah. Thank you. I do find like I got to kind of stick to my communities as much as possible to like not feel too crazy. But it's interesting because even at something like art school, where you would think like the weirdos would be understood and accepted, like I felt sometimes like I was almost even too weird for art school. But yeah, I embrace myself, because that was like another lesson of art school was like, I am who I am. I'm never gonna, like, that's not gonna go away. I can't learn new things and change who I am. So, yeah, so embrace it.
I love that.
Thank you.
I often feel that I've made some art. Some of it has been a little outsidery, but I've also existed in the mainstream and made money in the mainstream and a living in the mainstream. And then sometimes I feel like one of the roles that I feel honor bound to play is to be the conduit between regular people who tend to accept me and the very oddballs whom I actually feel most at home with. And I feel like you, my friend, probably fall into that second category.
Oh, thank you so much. And that is such a beautiful idea that, like, a conduit to be like, it's okay. Like, they seem kind of weird, but they're still good.
And also, if I can just go on a rant, for anybody listening who's like, there might be some people out there, and you've run into this in your real life, so I don't think this will hurt your feelings, but there might be some people listening going, why is he taking bubbles seriously? Bubbles aren't art, this and that. Here's the thing. Most art is boring, and most art is bad, and most of the stuff that is handed to us in the mainstream way is stuff that, is completely disposable, empty calories that if something gets thrown up on a streaming service and 98% of it, we all know, you don't even click play on it because from the basic description, you go, this sounds like trite derivative garbage. So anytime someone's trying to do something different or original or new, and they have good intentions and they've actually studied and they've put work into a degree, it's not easy to sit down and write a grant proposal. That's not easy. So you're putting in the work and you're doing something different. Yeah. Yes. Let's put that up on a pedestal just for the sake of it. Just because most of the stuff that's easy to digest and easy to understand is that way because it's been done 1,000 times before, and that's boring. So this is interesting to me that you make bubble art.
Thank you. And it's interesting. I was someone who barely finished high school. And then when I when I graduated university, I graduated with distinction, which means I kept a 3.8 grade point average the whole time. So it was such a different experience for me to be in university. And I don't say oh yeah, I have this distinction to brag, but just to say I did check the marks of the institution. I did the things, I learned the things, and I'm still choosing bubbles because I think we can take silliness seriously. And I think that's, I really think it's necessary and needed.
Yeah.
Our brains need it.
We're going to pause again because we got more ads. Check out our advertisers, see what they have to offer, use the promo codes, helps the show when you do. We'll be right back. I got to tell you, I already loved Boll and Branch because I had the waffle blanket, and it was a game changer. And then when I finally got my Boll and Branch sheets and I paired those with the waffle blanket, it leveled up my enjoyment of laying down in bed and sleeping in my own bedroom massively. That combo of those sheets and that waffle blanket is no joke. I sleep with them as often as I can. The waffle blanket is nightly. I can't sleep without the waffle blanket. And the sheets are only, I mean, you can't even say they're the icing on the cake because they're the cake in their own right. I got 2 cakes between these sheets and this blanket. I'm telling you, soft, breathable, super high quality products. You're surrounded by comfort when you use Boll and Branch. Boll and Branch's signature sheets and waffle bed blanket are a must-have bedding combination. The signature sheet set is an iconic essential, loved for its buttery soft feel that gets softer with every wash. The waffle bed blanket drapes you in the soft, springy, near-weightless warmth of its coveted texture, and together they create the softest, most breathable bedding experience designed for better sleep, season after season. Both the signature sheets and waffle blanket are loved by millions of sleepers, woven by artisans with the finest 100% organic cotton and highest level of craftsmanship, designed for breathable sleep so you can add more layers without making your bed feel heavy or hot, made to get softer with every wash, designed to mix and match with over 300 color combinations, yours to try with a 30-night worry-free guarantee. I truly love Boll and Branch products. Total game changer, especially as someone who has a lot of trouble sleeping at night. They increase the likelihood that I'm going to have a great night's sleep. It's one of the only things that I know, which is both physically great in the sense that these are sheets I love to sleep in, but also mentally great because I get to let my guard down and know that I'm sleeping in there with the best. I really like it, and I think you will too. You'll feel that quality as soon as you switch over, and you'll be like, Geth, this is no joke. No joke. Discover a softness beyond your wildest dreams with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/beautiful with code BEAUTIFUL. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/beautiful. Code BEAUTIFUL to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. A new year, that means colder days. That means this is the exact time that your winter wardrobe has to deliver. If you're craving a winter reset, start with pieces truly made to last season after season. Quince brings together premium materials, thoughtful design, and enduring quality so you stay warm, look sharp, and feel your best all season long. Quince has everything you need: men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather and suede outerwear that actually hold up to daily wear and still look good. Their outerwear is especially impressive. We're thinking down jackets, wool coats, Italian leather outerwear that keeps you warm when it's actually cold. Each piece is made from premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. By cutting out middlemen and traditional markups, Quince delivers the same quality as luxury brands at a fraction of the price. The result is classic styles you'll love that hold up year after year. I am currently, right now, as I record this, wearing a Quince corduroy jacket that I'm becoming increasingly obsessed with. I wear it almost every day. Anytime I have to go on stage, I wear it. It looks cool, feels good, stays warm, high quality, and I know it's going to hold up because it's Quince, and my Quince sweaters are still holding up years after I got them. Massive thumbs up for Quince, and you're not going to go wrong if you shop with Quince. Refresh your winter wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's finish the phone call.
Our brains need it.
It also reminds me I've started to notice a trend. I know in the comedy world where it stands out the most, and I've mentioned this on the show before, is that clowning has become a very buzzed about thing. And in Europe, that's been a long-standing tradition, but in the States, this is relatively new. And it's confusing to some people, and some people roll their eyes at it, but a lot of cool comedy is happening under the umbrella of being clowning. And I also know from having a 6-year-old right now, there's things like Italian brain rot and Skibbity Toilet, where these kids, where it seems like people want to escape into more nonsensical worlds. That is offering something to the human psyche right now. This idea of this clown can just go be a dummy and fall down for your amusement, or here's a thing that kids go, where you go, like, everybody's rolling their eyes at older people, but young kids are obsessed with saying the number 6-7 and doing the little hand motion. And you go, but what does it mean? And they all go, that's the whole point. It doesn't mean anything. Fuck you, you know? And it's just silliness and absurdism, almost for the point of confusing the people that don't get it for your own amusement.
Totally.
It strikes me that bubble parties and bubbles are a similar thing of, hey, if you are feeling stress, or you are feeling dark thoughts, or you are feeling confusion about your place in the world, here is a thing where if you want to just watch some big giant bubbles that sort of blow your mind because they're so big, I can make them with these sticks. Or if you want to walk around in a bubble party and feel them on your skin and maybe get lost in it, and the bubbles get so thick, and then you bump into someone else who's wandering through the bubbles and you both have a giggle. It feels to me like there's something about pure escapism and whimsy right now that are increasingly coming to the surface of what people seem to need.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, life can be heavy and hard sometimes, so it feels important and worthwhile to like cultivate those moments of whimsy, silly, lightness, nonsensical, all of that, but it's still it's still really meaningful, even though it's all those other absurd words. Yeah.
It's especially, especially in an era of human history where things are very grim on a daily basis right now. I find myself feeling very relaxed at the idea that you're out here going, here's my thing, bubbles. It was my thing at my wedding. It's my wedding ring. I've gotten very into them. We work with kids. We throw public parties, bubbles.
Yeah.
Maybe if you need to just stop stressing so hard, do this for 10 minutes.
Yeah. With somebody else too. Or, I mean, by yourself is fine, but it's fun with other people too. And it's so good.
Are there legends of the bubble world?
Legends of the bubble world?
Like, are there people who you look at and you go, like, like, is there a subculture where you're like, this is what Yo-Yo Ma is to cello, this person is to bubble? Right.
I don't know there's like a couple people on like social media platforms that I've definitely seen, and I don't know their names, but there's this one really great guy from the UK who always wears a hat and has a beard. But yeah, I don't know his name off the top of my head. Yeah, but I think it's like, I don't know, it's more about experiencing it than about watching like other people, if that makes sense. Like nothing against them, but I want to make the bubbles. Yeah.
Can I also say something off topic from bubbles, but that jumps out, but it objectifies your husband? Is that okay with you if I objectify your husband?
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Just to hear that you have married someone who is part French, part Moroccan, and people say physically resembles Jesus. This strikes me, that sounds like the description of a hot person physically. This sounds like a physically attractive person. Am I right about that?
He is. Yeah, he is.
Is he smoking? You got to smoke in hot.
Thank you for understanding. Yeah.
Part French, part Moroccan. Like hey, your new husband looks like Jesus. People, it's a commonly made joke that Jesus is pretty hot.
Yeah. I grew up like super religious and took it really seriously when I was like a young adult and joined a group and went overseas, and I was really into Jesus. And there was like, and that broke down as I got older. But there was this one point where my partner was like, it's weird. North Americans kind of like the way they talk about Jesus, it's like he's their boyfriend. I'm like, he was my boyfriend. And yeah, so he sometimes refers to Jesus as my ex, but, yeah, so it is this like really nice nod to my past self that my husband looks like Jesus and that he's super hot. And people tell me that, and it's like my aunt. And I'm like, what? Why is my aunt telling me this?
That's how I know I'm right. If your husband's so hot that blood relatives of yours point out his hotness, that's an undeniable hotness.
Yeah. Thank you for understanding. And then like, the accent, the French accents, and there's a lot there.
And I would imagine being Canadian, did you speak any French growing up?
I did like a tiny bit, but like not enough, definitely not enough to get me going or by over there.
But it still brings up
myself online for a while.
Not only is his French accent and ability to speak French traditionally viewed as an attractive thing by a lot of us, but it's also bringing up feelings of nostalgia for you in its own right.
Yeah.
This is a great match.
My stepdad was French, so it becomes a weird, like, oh, are we just repeating what my mother has done in her life?
That's layered. That's layered.
Yes. Yes, it is very layered. And it's weird because like there are so many times that I've realized like, oh, I thought my stepdad was weird and difficult, but he was just French. And because I see the same things in my husband sometimes. So yeah.
When are you heading to Morocco?
Hopefully in May. That's the goal. Like I said, my mom lives in France and my sister is taking my niece and nephew. So my plan was just to go and help with the transportation because they are feral children. And then my husband was like, well, why don't I meet you in France and then we'll go on Morocco, which makes me sound so continental, but I really haven't traveled for a long time. So, yeah.
You may have mentioned this. I may have missed it. Your husband moved to Canada, is with you there now?
Yeah, he came in 2019.
Is there any part of him that ever tries to gently turn around and go, hey, so I'm from France. Your mom lives in France, and it's fucking negative 30 degrees here. You want to move to France?
Chris, yeah, that is something that comes up a lot, or not a lot. It is definitely, I always say to people, it is always on the table that we will move to France. I can't have asked this man to come all the way here and experience this cold and culture shock and all of that and say France is never on the table. But I'm really, really, really close with my sister, and I feel like I need to be here for her kids' childhood, at least the next couple of years. So, and like we bought a house like a block away from my sister. Like we've really set our life up here, in that way. So I think at least until her kids are a little bit older, we're gonna be in Canada. Although it's funny because he complained about the cold and different stuff, but a couple months ago he was also talking about citizenship. So I also think it's just a part of French people that they like to complain. So I don't know if I should take it too seriously, all the things he says, because the citizenship thing caught me off guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would think that the weather would be... I love my family so much.
Yeah.
If my family insisted on living in a place that gets to negative... You said negative 30 degrees at one point? Or did I mishear that?
Yeah. No, minus 30, minus 35. Yeah. I
don't know that I'd ever see my family again if they insisted on living there. And I love them so much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he knew what he was in for, and I grew up here. So there's a level of coping that I have, I guess. And I don't know if he seems to really love me. He moved across the world to a place where it gets minus 35.
That's true love right there. If I have ever heard it.
I think so too. And yeah, it's just really nice, especially being someone, like I said, that I was like a loner for a long time. I never really had a serious relationship. And then I met my partner, and it is like a real love story. And I'm not settling for something, and that was something I thought was going to eventually happen. Like he really actually loves me, and I really actually love him, and we are making a really nice little life as best we can.
And it's all because of weed. It's all because you really desperately wanted some weed.
Yeah, it's one of my and at my wedding, one of my aunts was like, "How did you actually meet him?" And they're a little bit more conservative, and I was just like, I don't want to hide this. And I said, it was a cannabis love story. She just repeated it. She's like, a cannabis love story. Okay.
Was your human statue uncle at your wedding, and did he do any human statue stuff throughout the time at the summer camp?
Unfortunately, that uncle couldn't make it, so he was not. He was not there. He lives in the States, and it was just not able to come. But yeah, we had bubbles and ice cream and fun in the woods.
Sounds awesome.
Oh, but wait. There was a puppet I have this puppet that I made a couple of years ago. His name is Spitz, and he's like green on the outside, and he has pink accents, and he's meant to kind of, I took the color palette from a watermelon because Spitz is scared of vulnerability. And that's why it's like he's hard on the outside, but soft on the inside. So one of my friends who is a weirdo that I think you would be a wonderful conduit for and probably think is a really cool guy. I asked him to be my MC, but with Spitz, and he just jumped at it. That same friend, when I graduated,
yeah,
I asked him if he would hold Spitz in the while he was in the seats, and he did. So Spitz has been at a lot of my special moments via my weirdo friend Craig.
When you say MC, do you mean like the officiant of the wedding?
Mm-hmm. No, like the
MC
like
of the reception and the party.
Of like the reception, yeah, and
got it.
Bubble party, yes.
And your friend was willing to do this and to involve your puppet as the co-MC.
Yes, because my friends are as big of weirdos as I am, and I also met this friend at art school.
I just love that your wedding was so outlandish that this isn't coming up until we only have 10 minutes left. Not even 9 minutes left, and we're just now finding out that a puppet emceed your wedding.
Yeah, my puppet Spitz emceed the wedding. It's so good. And he like carried him around for the rest of the night too. It was really funny. There's pictures of Spitz with bottles of wine and dancing and all sorts of good stuff.
We have less than 10 minutes left. What do you think we should use it for? Oh, you loved what?
I was going to say, I just loved it because like people who didn't know my friend would have just like walked in and been like, why does that guy have a puppet? And then realized after that like, oh, now the puppet's the MC, but like he was just sitting in the chair with the puppet. And I really loved that too, that maybe people were like, well, who's that?
Can I ask you something a little serious, but that I ask with a lot of love?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've mentioned that hearing you talk about your passion for bubbles, I'm like, yep, I'm on board. I love fringier, more outsider art. Love it. How do you think, one of the fears that you have for any artist is what's life like in your 50s and your 60s and your 70s? Do you think about this?
Yeah. Like, yes. And I am not necessarily. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just so I'm clear for anybody listening, because you don't get the traditional financial retirement fund and the pension and all these things. Yeah. Like, this is really, you do your own thing. And it also means you're walking a tightrope with some life infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily think that, like, since I've graduated, I've been in this kind of freelance space where I've been able to look for grants and look for opportunities and make work. But there are times where I miss the structure of having somewhat of a day job, and not that I'm looking for a full-on day job, but I won't always be in this freelance space, I guess is what I'm saying. The idea of doing a master's in art is on the table as well, even though as I say that, I'm like, oh gosh, that's a huge investment as well. And you don't always know where that's going to actually take you either. So I'm kind of in this like education space or community building space. So I don't have a real answer to what you're saying other than I'm still figuring it out. And yeah.
You try to take a deep breath and not worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, things, trust the process, I guess.
Yeah. We've got just a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to get on the record? I know I will tell you, Andrea doesn't tell me what people pitch, but did type something to me that you mentioned something about a bingo board that she was fascinated with. So I feel like I should follow up on that.
Yeah. Okay. My whole pitch. So last year and this year.
Wait, you had a whole pitch that didn't have anything to do with this? We have 5 minutes left.
I mean, bubbles were part of it, but the pitch was, I'm working on this bingo card that I made at the start of the year, and I did it last year as well. And Call Into Beautiful Anonymous is on the bingo card.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So this is something that I did with my sister and some childhood friends last year, and it's just been really motivating. We all made these bingo cards, and it's kind of like a funner way to do goals for the new year, especially because we focus on doing fun ones, although some serious ones. But Calling Into Beautiful Anonymous was on my bingo card, and I did not think that was going to happen today, but it did. Do you want to know some of the other things on my card?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And I'm thrilled to hear that we got one off the board this early in the year.
I didn't even think that this was going to be I don't know. I didn't think it was going to happen. But also actually while I read you the other ones, I have one square called Chris's Square, which is actually my best friend is named Chris. But when I was sitting here looking at it, I was like, maybe I can ask Chris Gethard to give me something to put on my bingo card. So maybe think about that while I tell you some of the other ones.
Okay.
So go to Rocky Horror Picture Show with some childhood friends in our underwear. Learn to twerk. Plan a birthday celebration, because I always cry before my birthday and I never really celebrate. So plan a birthday celebration. Get my ears pierced. Finish my Furby collection. So I've been collecting, in the 90s, there were McDonald's had these Furbies in the Happy Meals. I think you might have been a little bit not into Happy Meals at that time, but I am trying to collect them all, and there's 100 different ones. Take a walk at night, because I've really been trying to cultivate exhilaration, feelings of being exhilarated. So taking a walk at night is going to be one of the things that I do. Go on a road trip, write a letter to the editor, get my ears pierced. Bubbles in Morocco.
I love it. I love all of these things. What a fun way to live your life by gamifying it via a bingo card.
Yes, thank you.
If you want me to offer up a square, but I don't want to steal it from your other friend, Chris, but I do have an idea that I think fits your personality based on how I've learned it over the last hour.
Tell me. Yes.
Wind up going swimming on a day when you had no intention when you left the house of going swimming.
Okay. So I love it. A spontaneous swim.
You're leaving the house, you're going to go run errands, maybe see a friend, maybe meet up with somebody for dinner, and at no point did you intend on swimming, but swimming happens. Impromptu, unplanned swimming.
I love it.
Although it doesn't sound like there's too much of the year.
Pool with my clothes.
Not too much of too much outdoor swimming for you. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me know when you accomplish it. And Andrea also suggests that all of our listeners start making their own life bingo boards and sharing them in the Facebook group.
I love it. Oh my gosh, please do it. I'll even send you guys my template. It's just a grid. somebody do it. We need a beautiful and honest one.
I have loved our conversation. It's coming to a close.
Me too.
I'm hoping you'll hang out and do the 5 questions behind the paywall. But before that,
absolutely.
What would you like your goodbye to be to the free feed?
I don't know. I guess just, bubble magic to all of you. And I hope everybody can take silliness more seriously. And thanks for listening to me. And thanks.
Caller, thank you so much. Thanks for your call. Thanks for your joyous love of bubbles. Thanks for letting us know about Bubble Jesus. Thank you in general for connecting. Glad to help you with that bingo board. This show is produced by Andrea Quinn. Our theme song is by Shell Shack. ChrisGeth.com for the live tour tickets, especially the ones coming up in Chicago, Detroit, and Pittsburgh. Got a voicemail line at 973-306-4676. We're on Instagram at Beautiful Anonymous Pod. Don't forget to join the Facebook group at Beautiful Anonymous, the community. And of course, beautifulanonymous.com if you want more time with each caller, ad-free episodes, all that good stuff and more. Beautifulanonymous.com. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions. Final question. I cannot believe it brought this up for you. I think this is the perfect question for you. You have described so many delightful aspects of your personality, your pursuits, your life experience. You are clearly someone who loves a good adventure. You love doing things your own way. It's beautiful and joyous. I love that it's asking you this question. What is the most mundane thing about yourself? Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.